Good day, everyone, from Bangkok, Thailand. Today, I need to talk about the recent changes for foreigners entering the country. As you might have heard, they are really denying a lot of people.
I was detained at Suvarnabhumi airport, transferred to an immigration detention cell overnight, and then forced to buy a one-way ticket out of Thailand.
This is like nothing we've ever seen before. You know, people have been living in Thailand for decades on a tourist visa, doing border runs, leaving the country, coming back in. Well, that's not a thing anymore, folks. That's not allowed anymore. And it's being highly enforced. So I'm gonna go over exactly what has changed. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do to avoid getting denied entry into Thailand. And I'm just gonna explain some things about the new rules and why it all happened. So join me as I talk about the sad new reality of Thailand and what these rules mean for all of us. So you've probably heard a lot of discussion on social media, especially recently. A lot of people posting videos about getting denied, being detained at the airport in Bangkok, and being detained at various land borders, being sent back to their country and being sent, out of Thailand, not being allowed in. This is not something that used to happen. This used to be something that was very, very rare, very isolated cases, and now it's happening every day, very consistently. And it's people from United States, it's people from UK, Canada, all over Europe, a bit of everywhere, to be honest. So it doesn't matter what passport you have, it doesn't matter, you have a strong passport or whatever it is, doesn't matter, folks, doesn't matter. You're not protected. So this is mostly because so many people have been coming in on a tourist visa and working illegally, or just staying and not leaving the country, essentially doing things that their visa is not meant for. Coming in and doing transactional type things, business and working. So that's the main reason for this new initiative of let's enforce this further, let's become more strict. There is some other things too, like people scamming and doing fraud in the country and doing more illegal things, but it's mostly at a baseline because people are entering on tourist visa, living here long term on a tourist visa and earning money. And that's the main thing. So yeah, I get why they did it. No knock on Thailand. It was a little bit of the Wild West all these years. And a lot of unwritten rules, a lot of unclear rules, a lot of things in a gray area. And now with the tourism boom and Thailand boom in the last couple of years, I think it was just a matter of time before something like this happened. So yeah, we need to be prepared for it. So what do you need to do when entering Thailand next time on a tourist visa? And are you actually allowed to stay longer than just 3 months? Well, first things first. You can no longer stay longer than 6 months of the year in Thailand on just a tourist visa. It's not possible. That used to be a bit of a rule, but they never enforced it, and now they are really enforcing that rule. So you should not expect to spend more than 6 months in Thailand in any given year, unless you get a proper visa. Now, doesn't mean you can stay for 6 months in Thailand, guaranteed. You may have an issue even staying for 6 months. There are people being denied after 1 3-month stay, trying to leave on one visa run, come back again, and being denied entry. So if you're doing anything that remotely looks like a border run after a 2 or 3 month stay in the country, there is a chance you will be denied, especially if you are coming back again on another one-way ticket, or there are some other things too, like not having enough money. You're supposed to be able to show a certain amount of money at the airport. It's not a lot. I believe it's something like, I don't even know, 20,000 bahts. It's like a decent amount, but not too much, $700-800, I forget. But if you can't show them at the airport, and keep in mind, I've never been asked to show, how much money I have, cop at the airports, and it's just something they can do if they want to ask you. Maybe they're going to judge you based on how you look, or if they get a feeling, maybe this person doesn't have money to support themselves, maybe they'll check you. but that's another way that they can get you and stop you. So yeah, in the past, none of this really mattered that much. They never really took any of these serious rules into account. They never checked your money. They never, really cared how many times you entered the country, nothing like this. Now you have to be cautious from the first moment. So if you're planning to come to Thailand and you want to stay longer than just one stay, my recommendation would be you can come the first time, you'll get your free 60 days. You can extend for another 30 days for a total of 90 days. And during that time, you should sort out getting a visa for your next visit. And that's my best recommendation. Now, there are plenty of visa options, DTV visa. There's still education visas, which I've heard are becoming a little bit more difficult, but DTV visa is going to be your best bet. Otherwise, you need to accept the fact that you can't just live in Thailand on a tourist visa. You can't stay here more than 6 months out of the year and just kind of live here in that way. It's not possible anymore. You know, there are places like Vietnam where it's still much easier. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, you just need to kind of accept it. There's no real workaround at the moment other than getting a visa and not trying to game the system anymore. You know, it's gonna end up biting you in the ass and you're gonna end up wasting money. You're gonna end up getting sent back and needing to buy another flight into Thailand again. And you know, none of that is anything you really wanna do. So I would not recommend taking any chances when it comes to getting sent back, getting detained at the airport, things like that. You don't want to take any chances. You know, they're doing it every single day. People are posting every day on TikTok, on Instagram. You know, there's reels, there's videos of people just talking about their story, talking about their experience. So it's happening a lot. And I've been in Thailand now 2 weeks. I've been meeting people consistently who have friends who have been here for a long time and are now getting denied or are now not in the country because they can't be anymore. So typically you will get a warning, not always, but typically they will warn you and they will tell you like, do not come back to Thailand until this date, or you know, you should not try to re-enter Thailand again. If they see it on your passport, you've been here a couple times, you've been here a couple months, and you're leaving the country, maybe they'll tell you. Maybe they'll give you a little warning to give you a heads up. But not necessarily. Sometimes you can just come and they'll straight up tell you like you can't come in. You know, they might question you for a bit and then, yeah, it's completely up to them. You know, I arrived this time and full immigration line, extremely long immigration line, as usual in Thailand. So tourism is not dead at all, folks, I'll say that. Hello. Full busy immigration line, and I got to the front. She checked my passport. Keep in mind, I entered Thailand 7 times in 2025. And so you can see on my passport, like Seoul, Thailand, Seoul, Thailand, Seoul, Thailand, Seoul, Thailand. So it looks a little suspect. But thankfully I only stayed around 2 to 3 weeks each time. So yeah, for that reason, no real problem. She did ask me like, how long are you gonna stay? I just said a month. I said, I think probably a month. She asked me like, what's your plan here? Where are you gonna stay? Where are you gonna go? I always just make something up. I said, I'm gonna visit Koh Mak, check out a few islands. And it was just like stamp and go. And so yeah, not too difficult, but they did ask me at least some questions, and she was curious about like, you know, why are you coming in and out of Thailand so much? So yeah, no problem there. I think if I would try to stay for 2 or 3 months, like I will this time, you know, afterwards it will be an issue. So yeah, you have to really think about that going forward, folks. No more just coasting around Southeast Asia, go to Thailand for 3 months, go to Vietnam for a month, go back to Thailand for 3 months. It's not gonna fly anymore. You know, yeah, it worked until now, right? People have been doing this for decades, for eternity. But yeah, things change, folks. So what are your best options? Well, like I said, the DTV visa is by far the best option. You can renew it many times. You can stay here for multiple years in the end, 6 months at a time. I believe you need to renew each time. You do need to have around $20,000 in your bank account That's the main thing. You need to prove that you have $20,000 in your bank account when you apply for the visa. And then the other restrictions are not that difficult. It's like the other restrictions are quite simple. So if you can do that part, then you can get a DTV visa, you know, and if you can pay the fee, which I believe is literally like $200 or so every 6 months, every time you renew it. So I believe $200 every time you renew, every 6 months. Really, really cheap, really great for a long-term visa. And this is another reason that they are cracking down more, is because they introduced this visa and they want people to use it. They want people to actually buy it. If there's no reason to, you know, if I don't need to, if they're gonna let me in the country forever, then why am I gonna spend my money on their visa, right? So it's like if they start to enforce these rules, it's like, okay, well, if you wanna stay in Thailand, you're gonna get the right visa, you're gonna get a visa. So yeah, at this point, you know, there are other options such as like a 6-month tourist visa, which you can simply apply for online. That's been around for a while actually. So if you do want to stay here for 6 months and you just don't want to have to deal with the possibility of getting denied on like a single visa run, there is a 6-month tourist visa and you can just apply before you come here. And yeah, I think that that's a good option. That's the best option for something like that, if you don't need to stay here even longer. But for those long-term stays, yeah, I think all the other stuff that used to work, like even education visas was the big one for a while. Just like you're studying Thai language, right? But typically you're not actually studying Thai language. You do it through an agency usually. And yeah, you're just a part of the school and you have an education visa because of it, a language visa. And now they've cracked down on that a bit because so many people were doing that for so many years. And they were here working, essentially working illegally while on an education visa. And so they had to crack down on that a bit. But here's the thing, I'm going for a job here at the moment, like a sales position with a cannabis company. And I was told that initially they're gonna get me an education visa. So this will be good for 1 year. So it seems like their method for foreigners and keeping them in the country for working is still education visa, at least initially. Because an actual work visa for a foreigner here is really expensive. It's really difficult. So if I end up being like an amazing salesman, they really need to keep me, okay, they'll do it in the future. But at first, education visa is what we're starting with. So we're gonna see, folks. We may have ourselves a 1-year visa for free, essentially. Normally it costs a good bit of money through an agency to get a 1-year education visa. And so I may have like a home base for a little bit. So we're gonna see what happens. You know, otherwise I would need to finagle a different plan completely because like I said, you just can't stay in Thailand long-term without the visa. So we'll see. That's my personal situation right now. It's like, okay, I'm gonna try for this work visa. And if I do need to live here otherwise, and I can't get it, then I'll need to get a DTV visa. It's the only option. Now you can have somebody transfer the money into your bank account just to have proof that you have it in there. And when you get the DTV visa, they can immediately take the money back to their bank account. That's no issue. So just you know, for the record. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because there's so much content being put out right now about Thailand's entry system and people being detained and denied and foreigners having problems. So yeah, I needed to make this video, tell you what it's like from hearing stories and kind of feeling it out firsthand coming into the country. It is 2026 now, so this seems like the new rules going forward, folks. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, folks.